Alrighty guys, hi, it's Amanda. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day today. As always, if you're new or returning and you haven't yet already, please be sure you're subscribed to the channel. Give the video a big thumbs up if you like the video and leave any comments, questions, or concerns down below. I will try to see you there. So today is going to be, I did a collab video with Radiant Brit where we reacted and recreated to some extent makeup looks that Without a Crystal Ball had done. Now, both of these videos that we had reacted to were about a year old. So I wasn't trying to be mean. I really was just trying to get the message out there that if you don't do your makeup the way that I do it, that Without a Crystal Ball does it, that Brit does it, that even some of these beauty gurus and influencers do it, that doesn't mean you're doing makeup wrong. What works for me doesn't work for you. What works for you may not work for me. I mean, it's as simple as that is. However, I'm not saying that Without a Crystal Ball had seen our videos or not, but she recently put out a video, actually today. She did a live stream on her second channel and she got ready. What I did find interesting was some of the points that both Britt and myself made in our videos have translated into how she does her makeup now. I don't know if that's because in the meantime, she has learned these different techniques, or if over the past year, she got advice, or if she saw our videos and that had some kind of play on how she does her makeup. I honestly don't know. I'm not saying it's our videos. People change how they do their makeup. I change how I do my makeup almost daily. So I'm not trying to say she's changed because of that, but there is some things that happen in this video that I know people are not super keen on based off of other comments that she's made, and how she kind of behaves in this video, again, is kind of telling. And instead of doing half and half like I did in my last one, I'm simply going to do my makeup how I would, using products similar to what she uses. I have only watched 10, 15, 20 minutes, through her eye look, and not even all the way through. So part of this is going to be a first time reaction. I am going to try and fast forward through parts that are irrelevant. I can tell you now this is going to be a longer video again because her live stream alone is 45 minutes. So I'm going to apologize for any choppy editing. I'm still learning the process. So I appreciate you guys for bearing with me through all of this. But with that being said, let's get into it. This streamed 3 hours ago. It has a high number of dislikes to likes.
Those are my biggest thing. So welcome. I'm sorry I haven't been on this channel for a hot minute. And I was just thinking, a bunch of you guys had said, Katie, we haven't done a get ready with me lately. And so since my other channel is, I'm trying to keep everything personal off of there, we're going to just come back over here. Recently, you guys, I got 2 new palettes, which I've been having fun with. One is this. It's Natasha Denona. I got this for my birthday. Has a lot of really, really fun colors. I love greens on my eyes because I have really dark brown eyes, and green and dark brown go super good together. And then it just has a lot of good neutrals in there. Then I recently got this palette, which is the Bibo Palette by Natasha. So I recently just started getting into her palettes, and I am loving them. They have really good color. They blend really nicely. You don't have to use a lot. They have really good pigment. They're expensive, but if you can afford it, they're worth it. Palette by Natasha that I use a lot as well. This one, which is the Glam, which is a smaller palette.
Okay, guys, so I know we're not too far in, but there's a couple of things here that I find it interesting that she's left this channel for as long as she has. She's now saying that all of her personal stuff is going to be on this channel. I thought that was the part of this channel from the get-go. Maybe I am remembering incorrectly. I don't blame her for wanting to put more of her personalized content onto this channel. It is a good move for her right now for a number of reasons. If people are going to hate watch and want to know everything she says, people are likely to start watching this channel. It'll be interesting to see if she actually keeps this to personal stuff stuff. I find it weird that now she is doing it, because wasn't it just a week ago or so she was putting extremely personal stuff out on the other channel in the midst of getting a lot of heat for some things that she's been doing online. Let's talk about these palettes, guys. I'm not one to really, sorry, I've got to lean over. I'm not one to really judge her for owning Natasha Denona, because I as well own a couple of Natasha Denona palettes. The problem, I understand people's problem with Katie having these palettes is because she panders to her audience a lot, or at least that's how it appears, is that she is, you know, saying, oh, woe is me, oh, I need assistance, or if you guys could help support, or this, that, or the other. Every time she kind of seems to maybe ask her audience for more support monetarily, she ends up making large purchases that seem frivolous to other people. It is her money. We don't know what her bank account looks like. We know her job is YouTube, so we know YouTube is paying her, meaning that by us watching, we are paying her. If we are making the decisions ourselves to subscribe to her membership or give her super chats, you know, I can see where it frustrates people. It frustrates me at times. These palettes are $129, and then her glam palette is $65. And then the larger palette that she has, the large palette she has is $239. That's a lot of money for an eyeshadow palette, but whatever floats her boat, and she ends up deciding to use the bigger palette, 28 or whatever. I'm going to use the Natasha Gold palette for my makeup today because closest, and I want to use products similar to hers. She talks about the formula and everything in good quality. Just so you guys know, this shadow has been falling out. I've had this palette for a year. I've used it a lot, and you can see how my palette looks and reflect it against hers. I mean, these are expensive palettes, and to me, it doesn't really look like she's taking the best care of them. But again, it's her money. She can treat her products how she wants. She does show how she has Natasha Denona's liquid chrome shadows. If I have anything similar, talks about how she did her eyebrows already. I'm not going to do my eyebrows because I don't do my eyebrows typically. Occasionally I do, but it's really not normal for me to do that. I will say now, she doesn't put any skin prep on, so I am going to put on some Tatcha water cream really quick as my moisturizer.
So I'm going to do probably something basic here. All right. Oh, I need to prime my eyes. So before I put on my eyeliner, or before I put on any makeup ever, I always do this, which is Stay Don't Stray. It's a liquid primer by Benefit for your eyes, and it really helps hold the color. And I am a makeup after I'm a foundation after my makeup, kind of after my eyes kind of thing. The one thing about these Natasha palettes is there is a bit of fallout. So if that's why I do this after, like I do my foundation after, because I'll get a little bit of fallout on my face.
Okay, so what I'm using for my base today is the Anastasia, however you want to pronounce it. I see it different all over the place. Her eyeshadow primer, I've talked about this before. I'm not a huge fan of this primer, but my Urban Decay original. A couple of things here. She didn't used to do this step of her makeup, which again, no judgment here. You can change how your techniques are. So that is something to know. A year ago, she did not do this. Did not do her foundation after her eyeshadow. Like I said in my last video, I think, if not, I'm mentioning it here. I watched 3 of her Get Ready With Me's from literally a year ago. And in all of those, she does her foundation after her eyeshadow. Before her eyeshadow. And she talks extensively in one of the videos about how she thinks it's kind of ridiculous that people do it the other way around, because you can just use concealer to clean it up. So maybe she has learned that this is...
I use this brush for my crease. It's Sephora Pro Crease 24. And I'm going to start with this color right here. Pretty simple. And by the way, I'm not a makeup artist, so I'm just having fun. We haven't done one of these in a while.
she is just talking about her hair and then she gets distracted by her computer. I am using this top shade up here. It looks, I will let it play a little bit more. You will see she focuses her eyeshadow, the way she does hers, she focuses it inside her crease, all the way into her crease. Potential learning for other people who have hooded eyes, to make sure you're looking straight on when you are doing your makeup. That way you know what people will be seeing, because if you do it with your eyes shut or you pull at your eyes, it is not going to translate the same. I do notice here and there that Katie does tend to taut her eyes a little bit. I mean, it's whatever is easier for you. What ends up happening when you do that is it doesn't translate the way you think it will always. I typically stop about right here when I'm blending.
Shorter than the other ones. So I'm doing my best right now to try to manage that. I haven't had a haircut in quite a while. So obviously what I like about these is that you can tell that like it's actually a pretty dark color, even though it looks really light in the pan, which is this one right here. You can tell like it's kind of dark over here. So I like that. Actually, Bree sent me a couple melt palettes.
It's a weird comment to me. I have never heard of, when I've watched beauty gurus or influencers, even personally give reviews on products, they don't typically talk about how it appears darker on their skin than in the pan, and they enjoy that. I've never heard that commentary before about makeup or makeup reviews. I find that strange. Most people find that as a criticism of the palette, because sometimes you're purchasing it for a color that is like a pop of color, and then when you get it and you swatch it, it doesn't translate. I also found it interesting that she talks about how somebody has given her or sent her, what was it, melt palettes, and she's never, if I ever got anything from a subscriber, thank them, and I would maybe try to use that product so they knew I appreciated it, but that's just how I would do it. I'm not trying to insinuate Katie doesn't appreciate that she got those. One other thing was she talks about how the shadows provide a lot of fallout. One of the things that I think would help her is if she tapped off her brush from when she dips into it.
Once I started using Natasha's palettes, I've had a hard time going back to other palettes just because time just building up the color, and it's fun to spend time doing my eyes, but a lot of times I just want to do a quick. Yeah. And so with palettes, a lot of times, like if you are not a palette person and you don't know a lot about palettes, it actually has to. On this color, I'm just going to build on top of it with this top brown.
So she goes in with a shade slightly darker than that. Was initially dipping into this color, so I'm going to dip into this color, which is just a little bit darker.
All right. So now I'm going to get my blending brush, which is right here.
So the way Katie just did it for her eye shape and how she likes to do her makeup is she took the darker color, she went from outer to inner and placed it in those areas. The way that I like to deepen my crease is I place it. Let me try and do it on this side. I did a little bit. I place it and I pat it on the outer lid and my outer crease, and then I will slightly, once I get most of the color deposited down, I will slightly swirl it to start blending that and drag it in a little bit underneath that other color to provide the depth. She's right, it does provide definition to your look. And then she's grabbing she grabs another brush and she blends over everything.
And just kind of buff it out, diffusing it.
I have seen, and what I will do sometimes, and I know what James Charles does and a lot of other gurus, influencers, whatever you want to call them, will take the original brush that they were using and they might grab a little bit more of that shade to blend out those edges so they aren't as harsh. Like right now, like I have a harsh line right here. So this is how, if I get a shade that's too dark or the line isn't blending the way I would like to, I always go with the lighter shade I was using and the brush I was using for that, and I just go over it. Really buff out and blend out those edges, and if the color is a little too harsh for my liking, it will tone it down just a little bit. An observation, you can see here where her colors are. I don't see much blending. I'm not saying I am the best at blending. There's no definite line between my original shade and the next shade. Yes, you can see it gradually get darker, ignoring the one eye that has the shadow of her hand. The other eye, you can see the harsh line of the color. Personally, I think she needs to tap off her brush so she doesn't end up with a lot of product in certain spots, and she needs to spend a little bit more time in between blending. Watching this clip, she's almost blending over, like not where the darker shade is. You can see in this clip here the harsh lines
on the brow line. Some people don't like to put brow colors on, but I like to use like just a highlight. Don't forget to lick the brush. I know. I'm just going to use this buff down here, which is, she doesn't have any colors listed for this one, but I just like to put that up at my brow. I am going to lick this though. There we go. Some people will do like pencils or waxes underneath their eyes with their brows, but not me. All right. Yeah, memberships don't transfer from channel to channel. I know I had a bunch of members over here, and I said I let people know that if they needed to cancel their membership over here, it wasn't a big deal, because at the time I wasn't going to be spending as much time over here. But I obviously want to keep my one channel completely normal, of normal content, and then this channel will just be like the get ready with me stuff. All right, because I love makeup, and obviously, again, I'm not a makeup artist. Okay. So now that I have my crease done, I am going to use my flat brush for these. Now these are like shimmers, and so with the shimmers, I like to use like a flatter brush. Some people apply it with their fingers, but I don't apply with my fingers. I licked a Q-tip to get something off of my eye. I did not lick a brush. All right.
I hope my frustration wasn't so evident through that last little bit. So much happened here where I have comments. One, personally, I don't ever highlight under my eyebrows because I don't typically do eyebrow product. I don't pluck my eyebrows, so I feel like whenever I do that, it just accentuates the hairs I have here. I'm naturally like dirty blonde. If I put product here, it accentuates that. Two, Natasha Denona palettes typically do have name sheets. They are like this. A lot of people dislike her palettes for that reason. They are perforated, so you can pull them out. I don't know if Katie pulled hers out or if maybe those larger palettes don't come with names. She talks about the memberships. You guys know how I feel about that if you're new to my channel. If you're going to follow through with what you're offering on memberships, I say go for it. But if you're not able to actually meet what you're telling them that they're going to get, I have an issue with it. That seemed to be what Katie was doing. And although here she addresses it as if she informed her audience she wasn't going to be on this channel, that's not necessarily how it happened from the one I watched where she addressed this. I watched one of her live streams, which I'm sure it's deleted, but she did a live stream where somebody asked about this channel and being a membership on this channel, and she got kind of rude, and she was just like, well, you don't have to be a membership to both. Just wait and cancel it until I'm back on that channel. It was not very nice. It was in a condescending manner, which you just witnessed, which is why I waited until that part was done. Somebody said you just licked your Q-tip because she had previously, as you all heard, say, oh no, I don't lick my brushes, because apparently it's this inside joke from the beginning of her channel about licking her brushes, but instead she licks a Q-tip and puts it on her eye, because what the hell is the difference? To me, there's really not one. Licking a Q-tip and putting it under your eyebrow is just as bad as licking your brush and putting it on your eyelid. It's the same space. It's what, an inch maybe, if even that distance apart, whatever, right? But somebody called her out or made that observation and she got nasty. Like, her whole tone just changed, and you literally heard the Q-tip, we know how loud a Q-tip is, hit her desk because she threw it. And look at her face here. I didn't intend to pause it with this, but she is obviously upset that the person pointed out an observation. I understand Katie being on edge because of the shit she's doing online and getting called out for, but I have said this time and time again, as a criticism that I wish she would hear is, stop paying attention to your live chat. If you cannot have a nice, healthy, happy stream because you keep getting caught up with what people are saying in your chat, you shouldn't watch your chat. This is why she gets criticism. For anybody who's watching this who is a fan of hers, still be a fan of hers. I've always said she needs supporters. Everybody does. My question is, why do people continue to support her when she talks to them like that? We're gonna move on. She uses a brush like this. Hopefully I can get she uses a brush like this, which is like a natural hair brush. I prefer to use these kinds of brushes when I'm picking up shimmer shades. This is about the only brush I've ever found.
I'm going to be super neutral and super easy today. So I'm just going to use this color over here.
So I'm going to use this one.
Center third of my lid.
I know it's more gold. This is called the gold palette, but it's.
You want me to lick? Yeah, I'm not going to lick brushes. I try not even to use my fingers.
I don't understand why.
I actually just come soon.
I don't understand why she has such a disdain for using your fingers. I understand, like, if you're a pro artist, maybe not using your fingers due to sanitary reasons, but if they're your own hands and you've washed them, like, we see her touch her face constantly. We have seen her nail beds where she chews on her fingernails. Maybe that's why she doesn't want to put her fingers near her eyes. But I mean, it would be nice if she provided somewhat of an explanation, because
saw her using it, and Kiki, the finger I did was literally to pick something off. I haven't used fingers to apply any of my makeup. All right. And let's see. I'm not sure, Kiki. Darker color out here to do the half, the second third, or the outer third.
I can't tell if that's a shimmer or not. So just in case, I don't mind going in with another shade. The darkest shade in this palette happens to be that we've only used this row, and this was our shimmer. I typically don't put shimmers on the outer part of my eye.
I will be using this channel more. Yes, Shelly.
Ooh, it's a dark shade.
My other channel is too big to do stuff like this. And it's just, if I do anything personal, my subs that are there for like the Duggar content, they're not interested. So I have to keep them separate now. I tried to do them together for like a long time, but as that channel has grown, the wider subscriber count, they just want like the Duggar stuff or the fundy content. They don't want this kind of stuff. So I'm trying to just do both.
All right, I can see her actually taking this shade and taking it down underneath her, onto her lower lashes. A lot of people do lower lash line work. I am not one of them. I have tried to do lower lash line stuff. Occasionally I will venture outside of my little typical eye shape that I pull off with this. I don't typically go under my eye because I always mess up and look like I have black eyes.
Yeah, I like having a second, more personal channel for sure.
I would think if she wanted so much support, and this is just me speaking out loud, I would think if she really wanted support from her loyal fans when all of this drama stuff has been going on, she would have maybe come to this channel a little bit sooner when everything's been going on, because this is where her like loyal fans, I think, are at. Why did she wait so long to get onto this channel and like surround herself with people who she knows absolutely support her?
So, you know, I was talking about how you get like a lot of like smudgy fallout. That's what I was saying. Like some of these are super smudgy. I'm going to put, I'm just doing it underneath my line right now. I'm going to do a complete conceal underneath it to cover some of it up.
Mention here is I think some of the reason why she, like, you can see I have some fallout here, and some of the reason she's getting more fallout than I am is because she is dragging it under her eye, which a lot of people do that. I'm just a person who's not comfortable with having eyeshadow under my eyes. Every time I try to do it, I feel like it doesn't come out right. But I don't think she's tapping her brush off, and I really think that that's where she's struggling with getting all of this major fallout on her face.
You've made me want to buy more makeup. So I love doing like a smoky eye. So now that I have this stuff done on the outer, the liquid chrome,
I just ended up having to clip out quite a bit, and you guys will, if you want to reference her actual video, you can see she gets an email or something and she gets super distracted by whatever it is and stops doing her makeup and responds to whatever this is. She is now using a chrome shadow.
I'm going to do this on top. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely more of a cold shade. Let me see.
It's like a gold.
So what I'm going to use in place of that is I'm going to use this gold shade in the gold palette. I like this one because it's like a duochrome. It has like a green shift. For sakes of being as close to her eye look as possible, I'm just going to use the gold shade, and I am going to wet the same brush I used before for the shimmer shade with a setting spray. This is the Fenty Beauty setting spray. For any shimmer that I use, if I'm going to use a liquid, I just use a liquid, and if I'm going to use a topper shade, I will do, and then top over it. My favorite topper is the Kaja bento boxes.
And I just like it because it gives it a little like added dimension, especially on camera. It's like a very light gold.
I don't know what happens after this, so I'm pausing it just in case. The gold that I'm using out of this palette is definitely more of like a green gold. So it's not a wet formula like what she's using, so it's not going to have as much shine, but you can see it is still pretty metallic, pretty shiny.
It's sparkly. It is very sparkly. I like it.
I do like the color of that. I do have some Natasha Denona sample sizes. The one that I have is silver and black, and these are so opaque. So I'm sure the one she has is beautiful. I do think it maybe would have looked a little bit better if she didn't put shades on underneath that were metallic shades, because you can see it appears more textured than what it is, because I have one and I will swatch it for you, the silver one, just so you can see. I was doing other swatches to see what would work. But you see that silver, like there, you can hardly see the texture of my hand unless I tilt it like that. So I think the bubbly texture you can see on this still frame is because she put shimmers on underneath. I think that has caused some bunching to appear to be going on there.
And then for my inner corner, I have to go to a different palette. I like to do like a light color in the corner. Can you tell I've used this one a lot? This is probably one of my favorites. So for my corners, I use a very fine thing, and I'm just going to use this, like, it's like a silver. I do have to wear more makeup on camera than I wear in my normal life. Try to.
So here she's just reapplying because she feels like she lost some depth. I don't feel that I would reapply anything on my outer lids. I mean, that's to each their own, really.
You like the gold shimmers? Yes, gold on dark brown eyes is definitely fun. All I wear is makeup. All right, so I'm just gonna do my eyeliner now. I use the roller liner by Benefit.
For shits and giggles, I will go ahead and do my eyeliner. She pulls her eye a lot more harsh than I do, but I also pull my eye to get my eyeliner.
Pretty simple. Trying to multitask here.
I use the Fenty Fly Liner. I just did it very close to my lash line.
Okay. Because I have all this like fallout, you can see like it's just sort of like built up. I'm going to do my eyeliner, or I'm going to do my concealer now, which is NARS Creamy Radiant Cream, to just cover up the over amount of stuff that kind of fell out there.
I'm not going to put concealer on. You guys know I don't typically wear concealer. If you're going to use your concealer for cleanup, I would advise just to be getting a wipe or a pad, a cotton pad. I don't have makeup wipes typically, but I have these little Shiseido pads, micellar water, wherever it's at, and I would use that to clean up rather than putting all that concealer on. One, because the concealer might just mix with the shades, depending, especially if you're using like a black. A concealer is only going to do so much for that. You're still going to get a weird undertone. In addition, not everybody wants to bring concealer all the way out here. Not that there's anything wrong if you do, but if you don't want to, and the only reason you are is to clean up fallout, just wipe off the fallout before you go in with your concealer.
But I actually don't use setting spray.
So I just cut out quite a bit, or fast forwarded through it, cut it out, whatever it ends up being. She's really just talking about her hair and having to cut her bangs. Again, if you're interested in what she had to say, you can go watch the video.
All right, 1 second, you guys.
So I realized in watching this back that while we watch this next bit, I'm going to go ahead and start doing my mascara in my eyes. I don't
think I even have setting powder, honestly. Or I have setting powder. I don't think I have setting spray. I think I tried to use it like once or twice, and it did not work for me. I feel like I got a sample of it somewhere. Is this, I've got some Urban Decay. Okay, so you're saying that I need to put this on now before I put on my foundation. Is that what you're saying? Whew. Now I'm going to let it set in.
I just find it funny. I mean, there's another part that you probably have seen memed at the end with her in the setting spray when she sprays it on her face and her mouth is open. It's purely probably an accident. I find it strange that if she likes makeup, she hasn't tried setting spray before, especially since she's talked about how she films in front of a ring light. I film in front of a ring light. I'm sure you guys can see it in my eyes. If you have it on high, it does get pretty warm under these lights. And if you are using other lights, it gets even warmer under those, like photography lights and stuff like that. So I'm surprised she's not wearing setting spray, to be honest, just because, I mean, if you get hot, naturally, you typically are going to sweat, or your makeup is going to start breaking apart and running. I mean, I've met people who don't use setting spray. It's not that different. Another reason could be because she uses massive amounts of powder. So maybe her powder is what she uses solely as her setting. Whatever floats her boat. People use setting sprays in all kinds of ways. I only use setting spray at the very end of my makeup if I want to keep it on.
So now I'm going to do my setting spray is dry. Foundation.
I guess she does her mascara at the end, which is fine. I like to go ahead and get everything done for one section. This is just a preference thing. I like to get, if I'm doing my face first, which sometimes I do my face before I do my eye makeup, but I just like to get whatever section I am doing of my makeup completely done before I move on, because I will forget to go back. So if I do my face before my eyeshadow or my eye makeup, if I don't do every part of my face first, I won't go back and do it. I forget. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the Wet n Wild Photo Focus. I'm trying to remember, this foundation wore weird the last time I wore it, but I won't have it on for too long. So I'm going to wear the Photo Focus foundation. I'm just going to spatula it on my face and then blend it out with a sponge.
I don't use like this is my color.
Okay, so I just fast forwarded through her blending in her foundation and me blending in mine because she didn't say anything, and I zoomed you guys out because we're doing the face products now. We're gonna go ahead and see. I think this is where she talks about what product she uses for her foundation.
It's Makeup Forever HD R260. It's it's not a full coverage It's a medium cover foundation. I had been using just like a tint, but I wanted to sound like ASMR. A full coverage. So I use a medium coverage foundation, but then I use a full coverage brush.
You guys will have to tell me if that's a thing. I've never heard of having a full coverage brush. I mean, maybe I'm missing something here, but I mean, there's different kinds of, I have a brush very similar to the one she's using. This is a Sephora brush. It's a complexion brush. It's just a flat kabuki that's densely packed with bristles. Is that what she means by full coverage? Or is she trying to say that her brush is full coverage and her foundation is medium coverage? That way she's getting somewhere in the middle between what brush she uses. I'm not sure what she's trying to say with that statement. It's kind of confusing. Different products that you use to apply your foundation does make a difference on the coverage. So I don't know if maybe that's what she's trying to say, but I don't think there's a brush called a full coverage brush. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys correct me.
Yes, okay. So now I'm going to, my dog, I just ordered a new one. Do my bronzer.
What bronzer she's using in just a minute. I'm gonna let her continue through the next couple of steps and then we'll pause. So we will go ahead and let her play through this bit because she's applying her bronzer right now and she hasn't set her face, which is fine. I know people who do this, particularly if they're using cream products, they'll apply the product before they set their face. I'm not going to do that, so I'm going to play until she sets and then I will do the way that I do
it. She chewed the edge of this off. I just ordered a new one. Trio by Anastasia. Don't use highlighter, so I bought a highlighter for the first time, which is coming in the mail.
Okay, so here we have her finally powdering her face, which whatever step you want to do it in is fine. I'm going to powder my face and then I'm going to bronze my face and I have a sample size of the Hoola. I will use this. I'll put it in the places I like to put it. Okay, so she has applied her bronzer, blush, talked about how she doesn't have highlight, but purchased a highlight, and now she's powdering. I'm going to do these steps in almost reverse. So I'm going to powder first. The reason I am powdering before I apply those products is if my foundation doesn't set, which this one doesn't set totally by itself. Some do, some don't. Since this isn't set, if I try to put my bronzer on right now, it's going to catch and be kind of muddy. That is the experience I have had if I don't set my foundation first. I am using a loose powder. I'm using the Fenty Beauty powder. So if you see it blowing up in the air, that is why. I don't use the amount of powder that Katie uses. Whatever floats your boat. I will say, just as a word of advice, if you're going to use that much powder, you are running the chance of looking super cakey. I'm not saying that's what Katie looks like, but whenever you use massive amounts of powder like that, especially on just that one spot, it can cast a shadow in pictures depending on what kind of powder you're using. Even if it's translucent, it can still leave. So most setting powders are made out of mica. And that's why in James Charles' old pictures that he even kind of clocks himself for now, there was like this white cast. And even in celebrity pictures, you'll see this white cast under their eyes. That's from heavily setting or baking their face. But when you put that much powder in one spot, more powder is going to cling there, causing that spot to maybe have that reflect in photos. It can also cause that spot to become dry. So if you are going to be using setting powder, like loose powder, my advice would be to take it in small increments, dust off your brush so you don't end up with that large amount on your skin. Of course, do what you think is best, but if you tap your brush off in the cap, like you probably heard me doing, or off to the side, yes, it's going to make your vanity or wherever you're dusting it off have the powder on it, but it's better to have the powder on the floor than maybe drying out a spot on your face, in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and do my blush. I am going to use the Hoola, which it's been a long time since I've used this. I think this is too dark for my skin tone, but we shall see. I'm just going to swirl my brush in. You see all that powder that flies off when you tap it off? And I'm going to, oh yeah, way too dark for my skin. So I'm going to be very gentle in applying this. I'm going to grab a different brush, a bigger, fluffier domed brush to blend this, because this is way too dark for my skin tone. Maybe if I had a tan, it wouldn't pull like that, but it is pulling super orange. So I'm just taking some Fenty Beauty that I always use to blend over this, so it's not such a harsh line. I will say she, at one point, I don't know if I fast forwarded over it or not, she said she wears more makeup on camera. I kind of don't. And I think that translates on camera. If I was maybe to wear more heavy makeup than what I do daily, you would see my makeup more. But I try to, other than my eyes, I do my eyes about the same, but like my actual face makeup, I don't go darker with my contour so you guys can see it better. I don't go brighter with my blush so you guys can see it better. I like a very neutral, natural base. So it is kind of hard for you guys to see that on camera. She goes in with a blush trio from Anastasia. I don't own any blush trios from them. I'm just going in with a Tarte sample blush that I have, and I'm just going on top of and over, like right above and over where I put that contour to blend them together. So it's not as harsh. Sometimes I wear highlight, sometimes I don't. So for the sake of the video and not trying to make it too different, I'm not going to wear highlight.
Okay. And then I don't even know who I bought for a highlighter, honestly. I don't know what I got. I think friends who used to be in dance saying those, but for my bronzer, I use this. It's Hoola.
Here she talks about
its benefit. It's like Miami in a box.
Spray tastes absolutely disgusting. If you've never done it, please let me know down in the comments, because I'm pretty sure almost all of us who wear makeup at some point in our lives while applying our setting spray have gotten it in our mouths. I'm surprised she doesn't react to this, because setting spray tastes terrible. And depending on which one you're using, it tastes like perfume. She uses an all-nighter one. I'll use this. I don't mind all-nighter. This used to be all I used, but once I found the Morphe setting spray and the Fenty Beauty setting spray, I haven't used this. This is almost full because the spritzer isn't as fine. I'm going to hold it probably out of camera view just so I don't get spots. That's the problem with this. This one does not smell that good either. It smells like alcohol to me. I find it a little strange. We'll keep playing and then I'll say my piece.
I never use setting spray. I'm just going to use it because Rebecca said to use it.
Which is fine, but she does say how she had tried to use setting spray before. And it didn't work for her. I wonder if it's because she sprayed like she just did. When she sprayed it earlier, she coated her whole face. But this time she only sprayed it in like the center of her face. It's not going to set your makeup if it doesn't touch your whole face. And you also have to let it dry. If it doesn't dry all the way, then it's not going to do anything either. If you start touching your face or wiping at your face before it's dry, it's going to smudge your makeup. I don't know if she does lips, but my lips are super chapped, so I am putting on the Fresh Sugar and Caramel right now. Okay, so now she's going to curl her eyelashes and use mascara. She uses the NARS Climax mascara. We will fast forward probably through this.
I don't know who. I've never used fake lashes, so it'll be interesting. Foundations on older skins don't like full coverage, or yeah, I don't know. Don't use full coverage.
So I will say, while she puts on her mascara and stuff, she puts a lot more mascara on this time than she had in her other videos. I don't know, again, if that's something that she is just trying to achieve that fuller look with more luscious lashes by coating multiple times, or if maybe she saw Radiant Brit's video who advised that putting more mascara on makes a difference. I'm somebody who typically doesn't wear a lot of mascara. I will sometimes use 2 like I did today, but I don't know if it makes a difference. You guys can let me know. I will be buying the BH mascara that Britt keeps telling me to buy. I just have to go to Ulta and I haven't had the time. Another thing that she talks about is more mature skin, her being told that more mature skin shouldn't have full coverage foundation. And she talks about it a little bit. You can watch through that part if you want. I'm not here to judge her. I'm not in any way. I don't know any different than she does. But from what I have seen, it's not so much full coverage is the issue. It is, what I have heard, it's more the finish of the foundation that's the issue. So if you have somebody with more mature skin, you can use a fuller coverage foundation, or you can use a lighter coverage one and build it up. It's all going to depend on the client's skin type, and what kind of foundation you're using. If you have somebody with dry skin and you put a matte foundation on them, even if they have young skin, even if you have youthful or you are youthful skin, it's going to still look heavy and drag down. So I'm not sure if I really was fully understanding what her point is to saying all of that was.
Thirsty today. Am I? Oh, it's fantastic with lashes. That's what Diane recommends. All right. Stream or something like that. It's like a new one by NARS. So too. Wondered if people, when I was at the, I don't know if that's. I have normal combination skin, so I don't have a lot of like dryness or. Diane says that she uses a finishing powder called Selfie Powder on her makeup, and ColourPop is their main 28 eyeshadow palette 28. My husband gifted this. I'm done.
So I guess we're done. She didn't put any lip product on. Again, I'm not going to judge her for that. Whatever floats your boat. I don't always wear lip product. I have plenty of them, but I don't typically wear them. I will put like a lip gloss or a chapstick on typically, but not always. It's 50-50, and I hardly ever wear like an actual lip product, like a lip stain or a lipstick. A lot of it is just because I'm terrible at it. I've tried to line my lips before to see if that helps. I can't do that very well. I know with practice it gets better, but it's one of those things that I just haven't practiced. So I typically just throw on a gloss. Let's see if there is any more to this video. And if not, we'll wrap it up.
Over to my other channel and get some stuff done over there. Okay. And get some content over to my newest member, Beth Ann. For ColourPop does have a very good price point. I need to go outside, so I'm gonna get fun. Thanks.
So there really wasn't anything else to the video. She just talks about how she's going to be doing content on her other channel today, and she actually thanks the member who joined her channel, which I don't think she always does. I know occasionally she does, but she did make sure to do that. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, leave a comment down below. I hope you're having a good day, evening, night, wherever you are. And as always, I will see you next time. Bye, guys.